The Eagles have a huge decision to make after this upcoming season, and the way things play out could severely impact the future of this roster. So we will talk about the most likely outcome for Howie Roseman as he navigates this situation. Also, one huge surprise from PFF in terms of positional rankings as it relates to the Birds, and ESPN had NFC East writers pick their winners of the division this upcoming year, and you won't believe what one guy had to say. We'll talk about all of it and more, but welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB, and the man of the day is Jalen Carter. What an absolute beast. Talk about being a national champion and a Super Bowl champion at such a young age. He's an absolute stud, but we have to start it off on something even more important, and that is what Jason Kelce did at the beach for his Eagles Autism Foundation. This is a yearly event where a bunch of the Eagles guys get together and the fans, and they just have a lot of fun in Sea Isle City in New Jersey. And Jason and Kylie Kelce raised over $1 million last week for the Eagles Autism Foundation. And I mean, look at that. You know, the impact of Jason Kelce. He's not even playing football anymore. I wish he still was. But this guy's everywhere. He just finds ways to bring positivity, and I'm so happy for him. And I'm happy for the Eagles and everybody that contributed to this. Also, one surprise ranking from the Philadelphia Eagles in PFF's latest unit rankings, the linebacker position. Can you believe that the Eagles are number one? I never would have thought in a million years, if you asked me this question, let's say 4 years ago, that PFF would rank the Eagles at number one on the list. I mean, this is how much the team has improved. The linebacker unit has improved. Obviously led by Zach Bond, but Nakobe Dean was stellar last year. He's rehabbing the injury. And now they draft Jahad Campbell. They had Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from last year. And they just brought in a bunch of studs. And the fact that the Eagles are the number one linebacker unit is just crazy. Zach Bond, a well-deserved contract extension after he finished 2024 with a league-leading 90.2 PFF overall grade. And speaking of the defense, we have to talk about the main man in topic today. That is Jalen Carter and his contract projection, okay? There was an article put out here on SB Nation from Kevin Knight, and we're already starting to talk about the Carter contract because, let's be honest, after this year, it is going to happen. But the headline of this article is Eagles DT could be the highest paid ever. Now, this is interesting, okay? Keep in mind here, Jalen Carter becomes eligible for an extension after this year. His rookie contract takes him through the 2026 season. And if the Eagles wanted to pick up a fifth-year option, they could do that for 2027. But let's be honest, they're not going to do that. You don't do that. You don't play around with a guy like Jalen Carter, who is an absolute beast, looks like a franchise cornerstone, and you don't want to make him mad. You don't want to piss him off. You're going to have to pay him. The question is how much? How much? Obviously, you hope he doesn't get injured or anything like that and has another great season. But let's go over and look at the numbers a little bit. Here's Jalen Carter's contract. Like we said, last year the rookie deal is in 2026. It is crazy when you think about the fact that he's only been in the NFL for 2 years. Feels like a little bit longer with how he plays and just his level of dominance, you know, week in, week out. He's incredible. And as we see the club option 2027, that won't even be a thing because you want to get it done before the final year of their rookie contract. Now, let's talk about defensive tackles in the league because it's all about timing, right? It may not be about who's the best at this time. It's all about resetting the market. We talked about that yesterday as it related to TJ Watt. And Jalen Carter is going to be the guy that resets the defensive tackle market. So, Chris Jones is well above and beyond everybody else, $31.75 million per year. Christian Wilkins, number 2, $27.5. Nnamdi Madubuike, Aleem McNeil, Derek Brown. So where does Jalen Carter fit into the mix? Well, if he goes out there and has another stellar year and just is the absolute mammoth on that line, controls that unit, continues to generate pressure, could he surpass Chris Jones? I think it is very possible. We look at Chris Jones, who is a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 6-time All-Pro player. He has obviously been the man over there in Kansas City, has helped them win Super Bowls, really has just been the rock-solid piece of that defense almost for his entire career. And he's a guy that's going to give you anywhere from 10 to 15 sacks a year. And at this point, he is now 30 years old. So Jalen Carter, much younger, okay? He is only 24. He's only been in the league 2 years. And when you look at his numbers, you sit there and you're like, oh, I mean, that's not anything crazy, right? Only 10.5 sacks in 2 years. But if you actually watch the games, you know he is constantly double-teamed, triple-teamed, and he can beat anybody at any given time. Big player in the playoffs and is already a Super Bowl champion at his age. So if we go back to the numbers, well, yeah, I think he is going to surpass Chris Jones, and if not, it's going to be very close. I'm sure Jalen Carter's agency representation will certainly ask for it, and we'll see if any other deals come up at this point. But I think Jalen Carter definitely deserves $30 million a year, and it'll probably be a 4 or 5 year contract. So if we go back to the article, he says that a projected Jalen Carter extension could be 4 years, $120 million, 30 per year. He says it's entirely possible that he asks for a similar contract to Chris Jones, and this contract would leap him up ahead of Christian Wilkins and former teammate Milton Williams, and it wouldn't match Chris Jones's average per year. It would give Carter a significantly higher amount of guaranteed money, and sometimes that's really all it comes down to, right? You hear these big numbers in these NFL contracts, but how much is really guaranteed? You know, Jalen Carter's going to want a huge chunk of it guaranteed. And in this case, he would get $72 million guaranteed versus $60, which is what Chris Jones has. So given Howie's tendencies, I'd expect this contract to mirror other recent Eagles extensions. You think about all the guys coming up on this team, Quinyon, Cooper DeJean, even Nolan Smith, guys like that. There's a lot of guys that the Eagles are going to have to pay. And a lot of the work that has been done this offseason has been to shape that opportunity and line it up perfectly so when they have to strike, they can. And Jalen Carter is one of the dominoes in this defense that you don't play around with. You give him the money, you get it done, you don't piss him off, because this guy looks like a future Hall of Famer already, and you have to keep him here. No matter what, you have to pay the price tag. Howie Roseman knows that, and that's why he is going to get out in front of it as quick as he can. This extension would keep Carter under contract through 2030 and avoid the drama of a fifth-year option or franchise tag. It's a massive contract to give out to a player with only 3 NFL seasons under his belt, but Carter could very well be worth the risk. So I agree 100%. What do you think the Jalen Carter contract will look like? Would you give him the most money in guarantees? Would you give him a higher annual value per year than Chris Jones? Let me know down below. And keeping on the theme of the defensive line, how about Nolan Smith, who was actually working out a little bit with Robert Mathis? This was at an event called the Sack Summit, which I'm not too familiar with, but Brian Baldinger was there, captured a little bit of video here. Robert Mathis, who most likely will end up making the Hall of Fame, great player for the Indianapolis Colts, and Nolan Smith learning some of the technique.
All he's doing is pushing you towards the surface.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the target, which is the quarterback.
Yep.
So it's chop, rip, chop, spin, ice pick.
Gotcha.
Chop, spin, ice pick.
Okay.
So chop, spin, ice pick. Here we go.
I mean, you got to love the fact that Nolan Smith is just young and really wants to take in all this knowledge and continue to absorb it and get better and better. And like we've talked about multiple times, Nolan Smith is the guy that's going to have to really take another big leap this year. And I love that he continually wants to learn and just, get his hands in the mud and continue to go to work every single day. Lastly, we will look at ESPN. They had a roundtable where some of the writers picked their division winners, and everybody was asking, can the Eagles finally break the NFC East curse? What is it, 21 years now? Can they finally break it where the NFC East will have a division repeat champion? I think this is the best chance you're going to get to do it. And if we go down and we scroll down, the last question they asked was, who is going to win the division? We have one from the Eagles. We have another from the Eagles. We have a third from the Eagles. But look at the last one. Are you kidding me? This is from Jordan Rannon, who covers the Giants. He's been involved in a couple controversial things, if I remember correctly, before. But Jordan Rannon picks the Cowboys. And the first line in his piece here is, let's get a bit crazy here. So off the bat, I don't need to read anything else. He said, let's get a bit crazy here. Yeah, that's not even crazy. That's just delusional. The Cowboys are not winning this division for a very long time. The Giants are not winning this division. Commanders, maybe they have a chance. Eagles are very dominant, got even better. continue to improve, and they brought back most of the nucleus that just won them a Super Bowl. So it's either the Eagles or the Commanders. Those are the two that are separated above, and the Cowboys and the Giants are going to continue to rot and smell like the bad franchises they are because they're not run correctly. So the fact that a Giants writer picks a Cowboys division winner is absolutely insane. The Cowboys might finish in last this year. There you go. You want a bold take from RB in the middle of the summer with nothing going on? There it is. I think the Cowboys might finish in last this year. Give me your thoughts down below. Who's going to win the NFC East? How many games will it take? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Give me all your thoughts down below. And with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one.